Coming up on today's show.
I will not tolerate any delays.
How confident are you?
South Africa has a long relationship with electricity, with Kimberley being the first city in the whole of the Southern Hemisphere to receive electric street lighting all the way back in 1882. But the relationship has gotten a bit rocky lately, and even romantic candlelit dinners aren't going to fix things. In South Africa, there is just one government-owned company called Eskom that supplies the whole country with electricity.
Eskom's mandate is to ensure security of supply.
Unless you've been living under a rock, you might have heard that Eskom is in some serious trouble.
Eskom is deep in a financial and operational crisis.
Drowning in billions of rand of debt.
On the verge of collapse.
A disaster of epic proportion. A dinosaur waiting for a giant meteor.
Whoa. South Africa is in uncharted waters.
If we go down, we bring down the sovereign and the economy.
We're going down!
South Africa has been hit by major power cuts.
Blackouts. Power outages. Planned blackouts.
Stop. You're saying it wrong.
It's load shedding. So, how did we get here? How will it affect you? And what can be done about it? We asked energy and sustainability expert Lauren Hermanus to help us figure it all out. While the lights are still on, let's get away. We like to talk about SAA, SABC and Eskom together like they are brothers, comrades, cadres. But when it comes to how much debt our state-owned enterprises are in and the danger this poses to Mzansi, size matches. The SABC needs 3 billion ASAP to keep making our favorite soapies. And SAA secured a 3.5 billion rand bailout to keep the planes in the sky. But Eskom will receive 69 billion rand.
Oh my God!
Just to keep the lights on from April. This is much less than what Eskom wanted, but Finance Minister Ngubeni was like,
the national government is not taking on Eskom's debt. Let me repeat that.
I got some money, but I ain't giving it to you.
But why is Eskom in so much debt in the first place? What went wrong? Well, to be honest, what did it? Dodgy deals with the Gupta family.
Money meant for maintenance was diverted to Gupta-linked businesses.
Too many employees.
A 2016 World Bank report showed that Eskom was overstaffed by 66%.
They have a surplus of 30,000 people.
Too many CEOs.
Eskom to appoint the 12th chief executive in 10 years.
Too many skilled people retrenched.
Experienced senior employees left Eskom because of the toxic environment.
Too much management consulting.
Trilon was paid 485 million and McKinsey was paid 900 million.
And it doesn't help that Soweto and loads of municipalities are suffering from, how can I put this nicely?
The culture of non-payment.
But all of these reasons fade away into obscurity. Compared to the mother of all screw-ups, the decision to build 2 of the biggest coal-fired power stations in the world. Why do you think that the Thabo Mbeki administration took so long to build these coal-powered stations when the world was already shifting into this renewable energy?
There was a lot of opposition to both the introduction of renewable energy and the introduction of private sector participation. There was a bit of a, we can call it a stalemate.
Seatbelt signs. Seatbelt signs. So you're being difficult. You're being very difficult.
Called Majova and Kusile. Basically, everything started going wrong from the moment they started building these power stations.
Eskom's Kusile power station was still set to be commissioned during June 2013, despite some initial teething problems.
The power station has been beset with problems. I will not tolerate any delays to the delivery of this unit.
Medupi and Kusile, the majority of their units are still under construction.
Medupi and Kusile were badly designed and badly constructed.
A bunch of really bad decisions meant that the 150 billion rand budget quickly skyrocketed by 150 billion rand more.
Hitachi Power Africa is of course the main contractor for the boilers on the Medupi and Kusile power stations. How confident are you can stick to that 38.5 billion rand budget?
Well, it's not purely related to us. I think we're quite confident.
Are you sure about that? From a 30 billion power build for one station, it has moved to over 135 billion.
You can buy a week's worth of data with that, or groceries for life from Basasa.
Cold drinks, whiskey, beer, bright packs.
But the interesting thing is that even if Eskom had done everything perfectly with Medupi and Kusile, Eskom would still be struggling to make a profit.
Around the world, Eskom's business model, large-scale energy generation, is really just not making economic sense anymore. On the African continent, I believe there are only 2 centralized utilities that are financially viable.
Australia's energy crisis has been a long time coming.
In the town of Emsdetten, many people generate their own power. Soon, the whole district hopes to be self-sufficient.
Investors probably wish they'd gotten rid of their shares a while ago.
GE announcing those significant cuts, 12,000 jobs. The business of power it's collapsed.
The report said 71% of utilities in America are anticipating something like a utility death spiral.
There's been a lot of talk about this possibility of a utility death spiral.
Eskom itself is currently struggling with what is called the death spiral.
Having one large grid and a sole power provider is becoming very expensive for these companies. Why? Because as alternative energy sources like solar and wind power get cheaper and some people and companies decide to leave Eskom, Eskom's costs stay the same, leaving the remaining customers to pick up the tab. In other words, the price of electricity goes up. Eventually, this would lead to even more customers leaving, and the cycle starts again.
Breaking news, and NERSA has allowed Eskom to hike electricity tariffs in the 2019-2020 financial year.
Just look at this graph showing how SA's electricity prices have skyrocketed over the years. And how does all of this affect you? Well, obviously there's load shedding, which is kind of inconvenient.
There will never be load shedding again.
Intermittent blackouts, this is going to last for at least 5 years.
Even when load shedding does not occur, the price of electricity can result in more job losses.
We're wanting businesses to produce jobs for young South Africans. How's that going to work if they have this increasing cost of electricity and also they're producing goods and services that people may not be able to afford anymore because everything's becoming so expensive?
Eskom poses the biggest single challenge to the viability of the economy as it is today.
Let's say in a perfect world,
yes,
you were the CEO of Eskom.
Is that perfect? That sounds terrible.
Well, somewhat perfect.
Okay, great.
What would you do if you were in charge of Eskom?
I would force radical transparency. I would open up the process of reform. If we unbundle and have companies, subsidiaries that are still state-owned.
Generation, transmission and distribution.
It is much easier for the board to have proper oversight of that organization. We cannot afford to let Eskom fail. We kind of have to keep plugging the holes in the ship until it takes us to our new home, someplace in the future where we have a sustainable and inclusive energy sector.
So there you have it. Eskom is a big deal and not one with an easy answer. What do you think should be done with the Eskom problem? Whatever happens, watch the space. Here we go again. Anyway, let me go get some candles. Until next time, stay woke, stay awake.